So it's the 5th of December, and my upload today is with regard to the medical negligence I've been experiencing. Um, as I've described in my previous uploads, there's been the untreated issues of what would seem from the symptoms as being fibromyalgia. Um, since last night, I've felt that there's a little bit more to my physical ailment than I had thought, and basically, as a person in my situation, experiencing the violations that I'm experiencing, um, it just exacerbates the significance of the serious violations being perpetrated. Now, as I've also mentioned, I've had violations of privacy, and it might sound repetitive what I'm describing, but as a documentary of hate crime, this is what is happening. Um, I'm in HAPS accommodation in a community where there's hate crime being perpetrated. Um, the biggest issue of hate crime that I have is the intrusion of individuals that are causing me problems that I shouldn't be experiencing at all. As well as that, there's the misuse and abuse of mental health services and mental health professionals that are intruding constantly and are, you know, violating my privacy. Um, in the community where there's hate crime being perpetrated, and as a victim of hate crime, for individuals just to be making claims as they want to be making claims when they choose to do so, unsubstantiated claims, I might add, is very dangerous for anyone's human right to freedom and to live a peaceful, contented life. As I've said, I've been unlawfully detained twice by mental health professionals. I'm not a patient of mental health. I'm not suffering from mental health ailments. And the mental health professionals I'm fully aware of have literally caused me and significant others very serious problems that have not been acknowledged by the Mental Health Commission, and that have not been acknowledged either by local authorities, considering there's false claims being made. So this raises the issue of not just medical negligence that's, involving physical ailments being untreated and that are actually quite serious, but even worse so, the abuse of mental health services being used as a ploy for the culprits of hate crime to, you know, violate my right to human freedom, to further uh, affect my livelihood. I've already said how my career has been ruined, my family life has been ruined, my physical health has been ruined, my earning power has been ruined, my privacy has been ruined. And this has all been happening since I gave birth and got married in 2015. The culprits have absolutely no conscience of what they've done. As I've said, the intrusion of mental health services has affected other significant others, and has caused a very serious issue that has not been acknowledged or rectified by the authorities or politicians. This issue of like turning a blind eye and sweeping it under the carpet and acting as if it's not an issue when it's a very serious issue, when there's very serious wrongdoings after being perpetrated, without my consultation or my involvement, or without any discussion with me about the decisions being made that affect my position and role as a human being, a citizen, as a mother, and as a deserted wife. Um, I've also said about how my legal rights have been violated. Um, the legal violations I've been experiencing are preventing me from accessing the rights that I'm entitled to. Um, when living in a community where there are individuals just making the claims that they want to be making and saying the most ridiculous things and causing the most serious trouble after the trouble that has already been caused, without support or services from authorities or from government. knowing what's happening and not acknowledging what's happening just shows the seriousness of the situation. Um, as a victim of sexual assault from over a decade ago, and now again as a victim of hate crime, to be experiencing this kind of a situation um, says very little positive messages about authorities and politicians that would ever facilitate these kind of wrongdoings. Um, as I've mentioned before about mental health professionals that have been intruding and causing me awful upset, especially not just my upset, but upset for others as well. That has, had very sinister effects on the life and livelihood that they've disrupted. Um, there have been other individuals in society that have died by suicide without the intervention of mental health services to prevent those suicides. And yet here I am, a fully mentally healthy functioning adult, suffering from physical ailments, not mentally debilitating ailments, but experiencing harassment and violations of privacy and false claims, unsubstantiated, and there's liberties being taken with my freedom after the exploitation that I've already experienced, the wealth that has been stolen from me, the career opportunities that have been stolen from me, the defamation of my character and my reputation that has been perpetrated. So this is how the services in Ireland are being abused by culprits of hate crime. Um, as a person living on my own in HAPS accommodation, and as a deserted wife, and as a victim of hate crime, um, for the abuse of services such as mental health services, um, it's a poor, lame tactic by individuals to be abusing such services with such unsubstantiated and false claims. Um, I'm just wondering, as I've mentioned already in my previous uploads, when are politicians and authorities going to acknowledge what's happened? Because the initial intrusion of mental health services and the intrusion of ill intentioned individuals causing these troubles and problems um, has affected other innocent individuals very negatively. And unfortunately, there's no rectifying the damage that has been done to the individuals involved that have been also violated, as well as myself. So they don't seem to be considering a solution, a positive solution. They don't seem to be thinking of an amends. They don't seem to be thinking of reparations. Unfortunately, the culprits that decided to intrude in my private life and my family life um, have a insatiable thirst and hunger for causing more problems without considering the problems that have already been caused from the intrusions and false claims that have already been made. So, as a HAPS tenant, very grateful for my accommodation, very grateful for, you know, the peace and quiet I'm getting after what I've been experiencing, to be feeling that there's individuals insisting on causing more trouble, professionals especially. I'm very surprised that professionals would entertain or facilitate um, these kind of troublemakers, because that's all I can call them at this moment. I'd have better words, but I have to choose my words on these uploads. Um, the thing is, though, that I've mentioned how I've contacted civil liberty agencies, I've contacted ombudsmen, I've contacted politicians, I've made all my relevant contacts, and there's individuals intentionally obstructing me from attaining the supports and services that I require, and also obstructing the amicable solution to rectifying the wrongdoings that have been perpetrated by the individuals that I'm fully aware of, that have caused very serious damage to my family life and my private life and my livelihood. So these are adults, these are professional adults, and as regards the supports and services that have been obstructed, there's also the information that has been withheld. Um, these wrongdoings that have started since I gave birth and got married have had many um, factors at play. There's people that have involved themselves in my private life and family life that have no business being involved, that have no business or any substance to what they're claiming. Um, it's been malicious. It's not just affected me, but as I said, other innocent individuals that the authorities and politicians have not acknowledged or rectified. Um, so, as a deserted wife and as a victim of hate crime and as a victim of other people's lies and trouble and serious wrongdoings, what would it take for the government and the guards to actually just confront the troubles that are being caused to an innocent family, an innocent woman, a law-abiding citizen? Um, it's unfortunate that since these wrongdoings were first perpetrated in 2017, well, really in 2016, um, it's unfortunate that they haven't the integrity or respect for me as a mother and a deserted wife and as a professional to actually just find the proper means of solving the problems that have been caused. This ongoing assault of my constitutional and human rights says very little about the um, you know caliber of conditions and whatnot of the agencies involved and the you know professionals involved. Um, so as I've said, there's continuous onslaught of false claims and intrusion by individuals. Um, my legal rights have been very seriously violated. My medical rights have been violated. My right to information has been violated. My right to, many things has been interfered with by individuals that have caused insurmountable issues that I don't know if they comprehend the consequences of. So I've already expressed about the impact of the spiritual violence that it's had on my body. The bodily integrity violations have also exacerbated the medical negligence of the physical ailments that have been untreated. So after what's happened since I've given birth in this country, um, I hope that the mental health professionals and the medical professionals are fully aware of what damages they're responsible for when they perpetrated the wrongdoings against an innocent mother and wife. Um, this means that the ailments that I'm suffering from that are untreated um, by the public servants, health professionals, mental health professionals that have also had an impact on this with their medication that I've been prescribed that has affected my organs and whatnot, um, is, after confirming and affirming my uh, feelings of not wanting any further intrusion or interference from professionals that weren't so professional in their treatment of Mrs. Emer Griffin McElligott. Um, the lack of respect for my privacy and the lack of respect for my health um, is an awful cost for this state to have incurred, because these were simple ailments that could have been treated that were ignored. And as I've said, these wrongdoings have also affected other innocent individuals. So the entire situation regarding Mrs. Emer Griffin McElligott that the Ombudsman is ignoring and is saying that the wrongdoings that I've experienced is not within their remit, are doing a very poor job of turning a blind eye to a very serious issue of hate crime that's been caused and a very serious issue of constitutional wrongdoings. So, as a professional mother and deserted wife in the 21st century Ireland, to be experiencing this kind of a situation due to other people's intrusion and troublemaking, um, I just really sincerely hope they understand how serious this all is. Um, just because a person or a family or individuals decide to disrespect my legal rights, my medical rights, my rights to privacy, my rights to information, and my spiritual rights, and my spiritual light body that has also been damaged. I really sincerely hope that they understand the impact of all of the damages done to myself and other innocent individuals. And while ignoring all the wrongdoings and turning a blind eye and sweeping it under the carpet, I hope they understand the seriousness of causing me these problems, especially as an innocent woman, especially as a professional woman, especially as a law abiding woman and a respectful woman.